What does a £3,000 trailer look like? Hi, I'm Adam Bennett, this is Video Shop. In this video I'll show you and talk about how and why this guy got involved, my qualifications as a trailer editor, spoiler alert, very few, why this is the most important film I've worked on, and, you know, what it's like having an A-list actor mark your homework.
I don't know what the f***'s going on, you know? I put this f***ing deal together in the first place.
Let's get straight into it and I'll play you the trailer.
There's ground warfare, sea warfare, air warfare, but the most devastating of all is the information warfare.
It's a really critical time for the world where the truth is under attack as never before.
This is our house! The revolution is here!
Stand up, kill for your country. Take to the streets in your tens of millions.
How have we come to a point in which we can believe such totally different versions of reality?
I can't believe this is reality.
There is some vulnerability in the human brain.
We see patterns in places that they don't even exist.
How can you tell truth from falsehood?
The brain is what constructs our reality that we then try to understand.
What we have is a huge publishing machine, and it happens at the speed of nanoseconds.
How can a peaceful society turn into one in which horrible, large-scale atrocities happen?
Storytelling is incredibly powerful. It's one of the ways we construct in-groups and out-groups. And once you've constructed another group as an out-group, it's incredibly easy to dehumanize them. And once you've dehumanized a group, they're no longer humans, so you can kill them.
What we investigate often is the deepest levels of evil.
People that are trafficked, people that are enslaved, narco-trafficking, terrorism, and money laundering on an industrial scale.
I asked him, how do you verify this? And he showed me a satellite image, and I just thought, oh God, this is next level journalism.
So yeah, as you can see, it's a rom-com.
Don't be an idiot.
Sorry. Regular viewers to this channel will know normally I add stupid jokes and film clips, but I'm conscious that this documentary is dealing with serious themes, and also the director has kindly let me discuss it here, so I'll put on my serious face. So this here is the director and my client, Friedrich Moser, or Fritz to you and me, and the fact that you're still watching means hopefully we did our jobs. We'll get to this guy shortly, but first let's jump into Premiere and I'll talk about how this came together. What you're looking at here is the first version of the trailer that I sent to Fritz, and structurally it didn't really change dramatically from this version to the one that you just saw. The end montage is probably one of the biggest differences. Actually, I'll just play you this last section.
Used to believe lies.
If we lose a grip of the truth, we lose our civilization.
So that last quote is the same. I thought that was a really good note to end on. So this is the first thing I'll say about cutting a trailer. Obviously, the first thing you'll do is watch the film.
Where's this meant to be anyway?
And there'll be lines which stand out very clearly as being trailer-worthy because they speak to the themes of the film. So this is one example.
It's a really critical time for the world where the truth is under attack as never before.
Here's another.
And I just thought, oh God, this is next level journalism.
And I don't think you need any formal training to recognise, oh yeah, that's going to work well for the trailer. So looking at the music, which is probably one of the most important things about a trailer, you might have noticed that the music's different in this version. Originally, Fritz did ask me to use the score in the trailer, and it is a really good score. Play a couple of sections. But I think too slow for the trailer, so I mean obviously any trailers probably go with sort of stock music, so for the first version booming, dramatic, you've got the sort of slams in there, so kind of perfect to edit to. I didn't go to trailer school, so what little I know about trailer editing, and it's not a lot. I picked up from being given long trailers by clients that they wanted cutting down to use in the UK. So I'd get the trailer with stems. The first thing I did in this case was put the stems with the feature in a timeline just to check that everything lines up. Sometimes things are mixed in or on the wrong stem, or you haven't got a clean bit of this or that. So it's always good to check that straight away so you can ask for new assets if you need them. Then what I'm guessing, I haven't spoken to other trailer editors, but I am guessing that they would do something similar to this, which is pull out clips and maybe categorize them. So we've got sort of self-explanatory categories of things, people, and lots of January 6th footage in this. And then a mixture of stock and stuff that Fritz has shot. So in addition to creating a timeline for the video, I pulled out what I thought were interesting or narratively important sound bites, which I thought could work to sort of tell the story in the trailer. And the structure that I came up with is set up the problem in the first section, and then the middle section you have the solution, then at the end we end on the stakes. To get that structure, I made a document with all the sound bites that I'd picked out when I was watching the documentary that I thought would work for the narrative. But also what was handy was later on when I was scrubbing through footage and also trying to find sound bites, was having captions on screen. When you go into the text panel, obviously you can get a transcript of the dialogue. And then what I did was convert that to captions so I could scrub through the footage and easily see the sound bites rather than having to stop, start and listen to various bits. These aren't for the trailer, obviously. These just stay in the sequence that's got the feature in, and then I pull clips from there and pop them in the trailer. So yeah, the first version was always meant to be rough. I just wanted to get it over as quickly as possible. So didn't do any motion design on it. The title is taken from the documentary itself. Well, actually, you've seen the trailer. There's actually very little in the way of motion design in it at all. When I'm editing, I kind of tend to wear my editor's hat and forget that I'm a motion designer. And I don't know, maybe for this it worked to just have a very simple approach to the motion design. I mean, literally, this is as elaborate as it gets. The quotes coming on one by one. By the way, this is the version with the quotes. There's a version without quotes. I'll talk a bit about why there's two versions a bit later, and also get to this guy, George Clooney, and why he was involved. Don't worry, haven't forgotten. So in terms of pulling out clips, one thing I was conscious of with it being a documentary is to get people into a cinema or to, whatever, stream a documentary. I think you need to sort of show production value. It was handy that the documentary looks great the way it's shot. I'm not just saying that to kiss Fritz's arse. Yeah. It feels cinematic. And then the archive footage, which is, obviously lower quality and some of it's watermarked, is kind of impactful and emotional as well.
It's a farce.
If it impacts our military forces, we're as good as dead.
Also wasn't afraid to push into the footage or manipulate the footage in ethical ways, obviously, if I needed to. So this shot just felt a bit static, so I just put a slow scale up, and then there's a part over here where I'll just play the section.
Stand up, kill for your country, take to the streets in your tens of millions.
So it sounds like it's being played off a monitor. I don't know what the voice is, but where it's saying stand up, kill for your country, this is the only footage that I got, but sort of punched way in, just so you're sort of reading it as you're sort of hearing it, and then and then pull out. In this part of the trailer, there's a shot, this one here, which is actually reversed. And that's not because me and Fritz were blasé about the ethics or integrity of the footage and how it's presented in the trailer. Totally the opposite. My approach has always been with trailers, I'll do whatever I need to do to the footage to make it the best trailer it can be. Obviously, it's a slightly different approach with this subject matter.
A lot of people in
so
the
what you're looking at
basement.
the moment is the footage from the documentary where I took that shot. And this is footage from Syria where people were having to take refuge in tunnels to escape bombing from Assad. And the reason that I reversed the shot, the camera actually tilts up initially from the bowl to the gal, but then a moment or two later, it tilts back down, and then there's an explosion. But when it tilts up, she's already looking at the camera, and then the woman behind her is looking at the camera. But later in the shot, if you reverse it, she's looking away, and you can hold on her a beat before the explosion. So, in my opinion, and in Fritz's opinion, it's a minor change. It isn't changing the meaning of the footage in any dramatic way. So this is how it plays in the final trailer.
Easy to dehumanize them. And once you've dehumanized a group, they're no longer humans, so you can kill them.
So that's another example of punching into the footage. So here I just scaled the shot up a little bit because the line is so dramatic and so serious.
Once you've dehumanized a group, they're no longer humans, so you can kill them.
I also do it later on with this shot here.
Oh God, this is next level journalism.
So one thing you might have already noticed, and if the trailer had been QC'd, they probably would have had heart palpitations, is the aspect ratio is all over the place. This is due to the nature of the footage. There's lots of different footage sources, different aspect ratios. But what that meant was we weren't precious about scaling up or down into the footage. So here you've got pillar boxing at the sides, and then we're punching into it just to sort of go with the audio. The last manipulation, which I didn't come up with it, this was Fritz. Someone, they're watching a computer monitor of this explosion, and then it's reversed. So just, kind of reversing the footage and then using the audio from that sound. If I just solo it. Fritz came up with a reversing the explosion, and then I just quite like the idea of just these quotes. You get the sense of them, mostly just one word quotes, and then boom. And this is where the change of audio track really helps. And that just kicks ass. Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of clever things you could do motion design wise with this kind of brief, but in the end it just seemed really simple and impactful to just have words cutting onto the track. So this is the final version, and it doesn't have those quotes at the end. And this is what it would have looked like. And we also lose this here. And instead,
what we investigate often is the deepest levels.
So I personally prefer the audio cue going over the quote. Just kind of seems ominous, and it kind of fits. This is important, you need to watch it, etc. But I ended up having to remove this quote. I got an email from Fritz explaining his reasoning. I would get rid of the quotes. You can't do a film about checking your sources and then have massive quotes that are misleading about the film. If it said the New York Times, then great. It uses publications so obscure and credits them in small font next to big loud reviews. Well, now I just feel bad for Geek Vibes Nation, who I've never heard of. I'd actually say, one caveat, I think it's fairly common with trailers to have the publication small because you want the quote to stand out, but that's a fair point. It's definitely an obscure title next to, say, the New York Times or Washington Post or whatever. But hey, we did get this note, but Fritz did get this note from Clooney about the trailer. Trailer looks spectacular, congrats. And his producing partner, Grant Heslov, fantastic. Clooney and Heslov came on board as producers during production in 2021, and Clooney explains his interest in this Deadline article. There's never been a more important time to talk about disinformation. Friedrich walks us through this complex world in painstaking detail. It's like a slow-moving train that everyone can see but no one can stop. At least this time we can't say we weren't warned. Yeah, that's it for this video. If you want to know more about the film, you can go to truthengine.net. It doesn't currently have a release schedule, but this site will be updated when it does. Huge thanks to Fritz for letting me talk about the trailer in this video. Thanks for watching, see you again soon.